Baylor's all-time leading rusher, Shock Linwood, is suspended and will not play against Oklahoma this week because of attitude issues. He reportedly shoved a coach on the sideline during the Bears' loss to TCU. And this was a game where the players reportedly wore all-black jerseys in support of Art Briles. Fans wore Art Briles T-shirts, and the coaching staff released a statement of support for the fired coach the night before the rivalry game. Rather than keeping quiet, they're fighting back. Paul, what should be done about this program?
Molly, I've covered college football for more than 30 years, and I don't know when I've ever seen a program as disgusting and as despicable as this one. It's a total disgrace. This school, this culture around this program has no moral compass. It has no common decency. And you know the school is going to do nothing. The Board of Regents are tone deaf to everything that we have seen and learned about this school in the previous couple of years. So I think it's incumbent upon the Big 12. I think it's incumbent upon Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, to immediately suspend the rest of the season. And that may sound harsh, it may sound rash, but if he doesn't, I believe the Big 12 is complicit in everything that transpires and continues to transpire at this school, and I think something has to happen. I can talk for the rest of the day, of the rest of my life, and it still won't get to the bottom of this issue and the core of the problem. And Marcus, I'm anxious to hear what you have to say, because I am beside myself thinking about it.
Yeah, it is very distasteful, and it shouldn't have happened. I think the most important thing, and when I saw this and thought about it, is you bring new people in because obviously something is going terribly wrong at this university. You bring a new regime. You try to create an environment where you can move past this situation to make it bright for the future. And my issue is the support of Art Briles. The attention of Baylor needs to be put on how do we affect a positive change in sexual assault on college campuses. That needs to be what you should be wearing jerseys for. That needs to be what the T-shirt should say. That needs to be what everybody's focus needs to be. So for me, they totally missed the point. I'm with you, Paul. It's disgraceful, and it could have been done to push the conversation forward in a positive light as opposed to rehashing things.
Right, and, exactly. Go ahead, Paul.
No, Molly, I mean, I agree with you, and I just don't know where you go from here. And the reason I'm concentrating on the Big 12 is that you can't go to the NCAA for help. You can't shut a program down, although I think they should, without basis. I am for freedom of expression, even though it makes me sick and even though I want to throw up thinking about it. So you have to look at what body can do something. And I know people are saying that's ridiculous, but some of the victims of this incredible issue out there and all the wrongdoings have called for this, and I think it's necessary. I just don't know why anyone should be complicit, whether networks should broadcast their games, whether we should talk about them any longer as if they're a legitimate part of college football. College football should be celebrated. We should look at young men and lift them up and talk about the greatness, even when they maybe fall down, try to help them up. But this school is beyond help. And we've seen the president of this school be complicit and get run out. We've seen the chancellor. We've seen the AD. We've seen Art Briles. What's next? I mean, where else can we go? What else can we do expecting a modicum of common decency from Baylor? Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Right. I couldn't agree more, Paul. All the negativity surrounding Baylor, and the coaching staff is creating even more negative press, putting out this statement of support for Art Briles the night before a rivalry game when they should be scouting TCU. They should be focused on the field. And Jim Grobe said, in the blowout loss that his team wasn't focused. I think that's the fault of the coaching staff. Guys like Kendall Briles and Jeff Lebby, they are related to Art Briles. So, of course, they're going to be in support of him, but they need to be a little more sensitive to all of this. Yes, Art Briles lost his job. They may be upset by that, but there are a group of people who lost their sense of safety and their sense of security, and Baylor has lost any positive connotation to their football program. So just adding more to it doesn't help this program. And, as you said, Marcus, as you alluded to, maybe they should clean house. maybe they should get rid of these Briles loyalists so that the team and the program can move forward and they don't have to suffer the death penalty, as Paul says.
Yeah, and Molly, I don't know why any young man would want to go to this school to play football, and frankly, I don't know why anyone would want to coach there after all this. And that's why I suggested what I do. Marcus, I mean, you played college football at the highest level. I've covered it. I've never seen anything like it. Have you?
I've never seen anything like it. And the thing that, you know, is funny, man, we having this conversation, and the thing that I think about is what all of the things you could have done to push forward, all of the things you could have. Now, house has been cleaned. Why would you do something to go back and restart this conversation?
Well, Molly's point
is so dark.
Molly made a great point there. You still have Briles on that staff. So, I mean, what sense does that make? And listen, I know that we have not had a court of law, but I mean, every time I watch another report, I watched one the other night by Armin Katayan. I've read countless stories. I mean, it gets worse by the day. Everyone outside of Waco, Texas knows how bad and disgusting this place is, but the people there keep enabling it, and the leaders there keep enabling it. That's the problem.
But Molly brings up the point that two of Briles' relatives are there, his son also. Yeah. At what point do they become bigger than what you need to do as an institution? It's my issue. Coaches get fired all the time. Assistants get fired all the time. If those guys are not going to be gone, they need to realize that this university has to be about moving the narrative forward and being in a better situation. So for me, it is a disgraceful move. For me, I look at it and say, as a player, as a leader, as a guy that's been in that locker room before, hey, fellas, what can we do to show our campus in a better light? That should be it. We all talk about branding and we all talk about being representatives of the university. If a player was to do something like this individually, he would not be on campus or on the football team anymore. And that's, Paul, I think that's what you're getting at, and I'm right there with you.
Well, I mean, and again, Bob Bowlesby, I mean, he's sitting there fiddling while Rome is burning, and he's probably out trying to bring another 20 or 30 schools to apply for membership in the Big 12. I mean, I put it on him because I don't know where else you can go, Marcus.
Right. One thing's for sure, something needs to change at Baylor. That's not acceptable. All right, after a 10-0